We will be providing a storm update this morning. First, we're going to hear from Mayor Bass. Following that, we'll hear from Fire Chief Kristen Crowley. After that, we'll hear from Los Angeles County Supervisors Chair Lindsay Horvath. The Fire Chief will also be providing an update on behalf of the National Weather Service. After the County Board of Supervisors Chair, we will be hearing from LAUSD Superintendent Alberto Cavallo. Following his remarks in English, he will then give his remarks in Spanish. And after that, David Ortiz, who's with us from the LA Fire Department, will also provide remarks for Spanish after that. So Spanish channels, if you are taking that live, I would go live when the superintendent begins his remarks in Spanish. And with that, also, for questions and answers, on hand, we have Marty Adams, General Manager and Chief Engineer of LADWP. We have Ara Garcia, President of the Board of Public Works. We have Keith Mose, General Manager of Streets LA. We have Laura Rubio Cornejo, General Manager of LADOT. Ted Ross, General Manager of Information Technology Agency, ITA. We have Nathaniel Vergao, Deputy Chief Programs Officer at LASA. We also have Lourdes Castro Ramirez, Chief of the Housing and Homelessness Solutions in the Mayor's Office, as well as Carol Parks, General Manager of EMD. And with that, I will hand it over to Mayor Bass.
Good morning, everyone. First, I want to begin by thanking our first responders, who since yesterday afternoon have been actively responding to this historic storm. Yesterday marked the 10th wettest day in the history of this city since recording rain amounts in 1877, 10th wettest day in the history of the city. With unprecedented rain came unprecedented preparation, and now comes unprecedented response. All through the night, firefighters, police officers, street repair crews, traffic engineers, parks and rec staff, and the entire city family have worked to address the storm. To help facilitate this response, this morning I have signed a declaration of a local emergency which will help our response and ensure that the city has the required resources to respond to this storm now, but also in the recovery period. Our message to Angelenos is vital now more than ever. Stay safe and off the roads. Only leave your house if it is absolutely necessary. Stay informed. Register for Notify LA at emergency.lacity.gov to sign up for alerts and get more information. We have had to evacuate certain neighborhoods, which I know may cause stress to other Angelenos wondering if their neighborhood will be next. Know this, if we need to issue an evacuation warning, Angelenos will be notified through Notify LA. If there is an evacuation order, LAPD will perform door-to-door evacuation notifications if needed. We asked Angelenos to please follow evacuation notifications. We asked Angelenos to please follow guidance and to keep your devices charged and have your emergency supplies and medications on hand. I do have to say that we have had to rescue individuals in certain neighborhoods because they did not follow the evacuation order. So we ask that when notified that you need to evacuate, please do that so you do not end up needing to be rescued. Our Emergency Operations Center is designed for earthquakes, fires, and storms like this. This is where we are right now. So the City of Los Angeles is activated with our county partners and ready to go. This is all part of our continued proactive response to the storm's potential impacts. Just like our preparation for Tropical Storm Hillary paid off in August because Angelenos listened. I am confident we will weather this storm too, because once again, the city and the county are prepared. We are sharing information, and I've been seeing Angelenos take action to make common sense preparations. Please keep 911 lines open for life-threatening emergencies, including fallen power lines. We have extended 311 hours for this storm for flooded roads, fallen branches, flooded gutters, and more. For power outages or water main breaks, call DWP at 1-800 1-800-DIAL-DWP. 1-800-DIAL-DWP. For the last week, my office, along with the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority, we have been doing intensified outreach to people experiencing homelessness along the LA River and in high flood risk areas. If you have friends or relatives who are unhoused, please direct them to call 211 and seek a shelter nearby. We do have shelter beds available. I'm going to make sure that every city department does its part, and I'm going to make sure that we are providing the people of Los Angeles with all the information they need. Now, in turn, we need every Angelino to use common sense to stay safe and stay out of the way of any fallen trees, falling wires, flooded roads, and other hazards. Let's also keep the roads clear for our emergency crews. We will continue to provide updates as circumstances warrant. And now let me introduce our Fire Chief, Kristen Crowley, for an update.
All right, hello everybody. As we continue to cope with this storm, the Los Angeles City Fire Department, in conjunction with our other city departments, has been working tirelessly to assess the extent of the damage and to provide immediate assistance with those individuals in need. The Emergency Operations Center does remain activated to a level 2. And all city departments, under the direction of Mayor Bass and our other city leaders, are collaborating to ensure the safety of all residents. Now, throughout the night, city services worked diligently to minimize the impacts of this storm. The greater Los Angeles area has received 2 to 5 inches of rain and 5 to 10 inches of rain within the Santa Monica Mountains and the Topanga Canyon area. This rain has resulted in citywide incidents increasing by over 30%. Now, in preparation for the storm, the LAFD added additional teams of swiftwater rescue, community emergency response, urban search and rescue, hand crews, tractor companies, helicopter pilots, command, and dispatch to assist the 1,000 LAFD firefighters already on duty. The LAFD will continue to maintain an augmented resource deployment until this storm passes. Now, during the storm, the Los Angeles City Fire Department has already responded to over 130 flooding incidents, 49 mud and debris flows, extinguished half of a dozen structure fires, affected several water rescues for stranded motorists, and managed a 132% increase in our automatic alarms. Now, our hillside areas within the city, there have been several mudslides, within an increased risk of additional slides as the storm continues throughout the day. Now, firefighters have evacuated 16 residents from the Lock Ridge Road located in the Studio City area after a debris flow caused significant damage to 2 of the homes. All 9 homes on Lock Ridge Road have been evacuated, and city agencies are working together to offer emergency shelter locations to these residents. The Department of Building and Safety is on scene, and they are evaluating the situation. DWP and the gas company officials are assessing the impacted area and looking at the utilities as well. And thankfully, no one was injured during this rescue. The Latuna Canyon evacuation order is still in effect as we continue to monitor the impacted area. Now, for those who have evacuated, we will provide updates on when it is safe to return to your homes. We are looking and working very, very closely, I should say, with the National Weather Service to monitor the weather conditions and ensure your safety, the LA City residents. For the latest information, please visit LAFD.org. Now, at the present, the LAFD is working on multiple active incidents, one of which is a mudslide on Beverly Drive in the Hollywood Hills area. Crews are currently responding to this incident to provide for fire life safety and evaluate the impact on nearby homes. Additionally, this morning we received unconfirmed reports of a victim in the Pacoima Wash, which feeds into the LA River. Hundreds of firefighters and specialized swiftwater rescue crews conducted an exhaustive search up and down the river. No victim has been identified. This incident has been passed to the Los Angeles County Fire Department downstream and outside of city limits. Now, the DWP has reported over 150 power incidents, and approximately 7,200 customers remain without power after thousands have been restored. They are working diligently to restore power within 4 to 6 hours. Also, since the storm started, LAPD has had an increase in traffic accident responses with over 65 traffic collisions resulting in injuries. Now, as you can see, we continue to take an all-city service approach to minimize and mitigate the effects of this storm. However, the hazards of this storm have not passed. Again, I want to say the hazards of this storm have yet not passed. As the storm continues to impact our city, we anticipate another wave of heavy rains later on this afternoon. We advise residents to exercise caution if you must venture out. Stay away from standing and moving water. Slow down if you are driving, and be on the lookout for downed power lines and trees. Now, please continue. This is key to our success, to report non-emergency problems by calling 311. These calls help us prioritize the city's response within our Emergency Operations Center. So again, please stay safe, avoid unnecessary travel, and take care of each other. Next, I'll be briefing everybody just on the current weather. We received this report from the National Weather Service. So as of 10:30 this morning, the National Weather Service provided an update. The atmospheric river event will continue on through Tuesday. The forecast estimates an additional 1 to 3 inches of rainfall, with possible 3 to 6 inches in the foothills and the mountains. Downtown LA has received approximately 4 inches of rain from Saturday night until last night. This is tied for the 10th wettest calendar day in the month since July 1st of 1877. There has been over 10 inches of rain that has fallen in parts of the Santa Monica Mountains, and flooding of the neighborhoods, roadways, rock slides, and mud debris flows that are near recent burn scars will continue to be a threat. The expected rainfall still poses a risk of flooding. Therefore, the flood watch will remain in effect until Tuesday afternoon. The flash flood warning is also in effect until 3 p.m. today for the Santa Monica Mountains and the Hollywood Hills. There is no significant wind threat expected, and a high surf advisory remains in effect until 9 p.m. today. Also, and lastly, the heavy snow is expected in nearby mountains above 6,000 feet. And with that, I will now introduce the Los Angeles County Supervisor Chair, Lindsay Horvath.
Thank you very much. I want to thank all of our city partners who are taking the lead in the effort within the city of Los Angeles. All county departments are ready to assist the city, and we thank you for your strong leadership and partnership. We know the storm is not over. We need people to stay safe and informed. I join you today not only on behalf of my colleagues on the Board of Supervisors, but also LA County Public Works, our Office of Emergency Management, LA County Fire, in partnership with our Sheriff's Department, all who are coordinated and prepared for this storm with our City of Los Angeles partners today. Special thanks to Sheriff Luna, Chief Maroney, Director Pastrella, and Director McGowan, who have been on the front lines and really helping us in this difficult time. Yesterday afternoon, I issued an emergency proclamation for LA County to expedite resources and recovery and to ensure coordination. Emergency powers allow us to move quickly and secure every resource we need to keep people safe. Our staff are assessing damage from overnight, but overall the county has weathered this storm well because we were prepared and we listened to communication. We have areas we're paying close attention to, including our canyon communities. Topanga Canyon Boulevard is closed at this time. Please do not drive through our canyons during this weather event. The county has 110 road crews through our Department of Public Works doing storm patrols. And there are about a dozen closures throughout the county in addition to what has been reported in the city. A reminder that we also in the county have 2 additional evacuation orders. The Owen Fire Burn area in Topanga Canyon. The location is Santa Maria Road, north of Topanga Canyon Boulevard. There's also an evacuation order for the Agua Fire Burn area in Soledad Canyon, east of Acton. An evacuation warning is in place for the Bobcat Fire and Lake Fire Burn areas. If you live in these communities, be prepared to evacuate. Malibu schools are closed today, and to date, we have collected, as of 10 a.m., 815 million gallons of water to serve more than 20,000 households for 1 year and counting. In closing, I want to remind everyone to enroll in their local emergency alerts. You can sign up for LA County alerts at ready.lacounty.gov/alerts. We know that conditions are still being determined. Even if lighter rain happens, it's still not safe to be outside. The conditions will not change immediately. So thank you for heeding the warnings. As you heard, in parts of my district, we've seen more than 10 inches. Woodland Hills, Bel Air, Santa Monica Mountains, Topanga. So there's a lot happening in our neighborhoods, and we have to continue to stay safe. Please listen to communication. Please work with us. The more you work with us, the safer we'll all be. Thank you very much. And now I'd like to turn it over to LAUSD Superintendent Alberto Carvalho.
Thank you very much, County Supervisor Horvath, Madam Mayor, to the city and county leadership, to all of the partner agencies who have collaborated aggressively to ensure that we have reached the stage of over-preparedness, which is far better than being underprepared. And today, I can tell you that the right decisions, in part as a result of deep communication and collaboration with the partners who are present here today, we have had thus far a rather successful school day. The numbers don't lie. Number one, 90% of our teachers reported for work. 91% of our classified personnel, including over 90% of our bus drivers, courageously reported to work. Out of our entire bus fleet, which is close to 1,000 buses, only 1 bus broke down. The average delay was no greater than 30 minutes for all routes, with 1 single bus experiencing a 90-minute delay. That was the route associated with the bus breakdown. As far as students are concerned, we expected low attendance, lower than average, but still 63% of our students went to school. I spoke with parents, and I have been in the South region. I just came back from the East region. I spoke with parents who extended their appreciation for the fact that we maintained our school sites open. I spoke with a mother, single parent, who was an essential worker, a nurse, who had to go to work, and she did not know what to do if the school was not open for her child. Between breakfast and lunch and snack, even though we have 63% of our students attending school today, we will serve more meals today in Los Angeles Unified, a district where 80% of our kids depend on free breakfast and lunch. We will serve more meals today than all of the fast food restaurants in the greater Los Angeles. So it is important, beyond reading and mathematics, science, and social studies, for us to provide these indispensable, irreplaceable services to our students. It was the right call. I want to really congratulate, salute, and appreciate our teachers, our leaders, our maintenance staff, our support personnel, who braved the elements and made it to schools safely to welcome our children. We had maintenance crews and plant managers out at school sites by the hundreds as early as 5 a.m. this morning. And the reports that we received prior to 7 a.m. were that the vast majority of our schools were good to go. Some degree of challenge in terms of access on streets and roadways on the way to school, but the schools themselves held up in a very admirable way. Topanga Elementary, and in a very limited way, A couple of other schools experienced challenges. So we have Vinedale closed as we speak, as well as Topanga Elementary. We made those announcements last night. Right decision at that time, considering some of the evacuations that were announced and the potential for conditions in those areas. From here, I will go north. I will go to East Valley and West Valley, where we anticipated severe weather and severe impact of that weather, considering the topography of that region. We will go to some of the most deeply impacted schools. But even in those areas, based on the reports from the regional superintendents, the vast majority of schools are in good shape. We've had some reports of power outage. Right before entering this room, we had but one school that was currently experiencing an electrical power outage. We've had 4 schools throughout the day with phone outages. That is remarkable considering the size of our district. The last point is, as you heard from our fire chief, later on this afternoon, the intensity of the rain will resume. I'm urging parents and our own workforce, do not linger in school today. As soon as the last bell rings, please travel home, as conditions will deteriorate as the afternoon unfolds. We expect, as you heard, some additional rain throughout the evening and going into tomorrow. We expect the school day tomorrow, on the basis of the conditions known to us at this point, to be actually better than what it was today. We continue to urge our workforce and parents, and we saw that being done today. Judge for yourself. Examine the conditions in your neighborhood, around your home, and the known route between your home and school, and then make the right decision for you. Do not compromise your safety and your security. We saw parents and workforce members making those decisions today, even though the lion's share of our workforce reported. I say thank you, thank you, thank you to our teachers, to our leaders, to our support staff. We're ready for tomorrow. If you have special needs, please contact us. Contact our HR department, contact our hotline for assistance to both students and workforce members. We have digital resources available to students, with continuity of learning plans available to students whose parents decided to keep them home considering the circumstances around their neighborhoods. So I want to say thank you to our mayor once again, to the leadership of this community, but most importantly to the courageous, determined workforce members, our teachers, our leaders, our support staff, who did an admirable job today. Unas palabras en español. Esperábamos un día muy difícil, pero con un poco de suerte, pero con el labor de nuestros colegas de trabajo, principalmente nuestros maestros, nuestros conductores de autobuses escolares, el personal de apoyo y la determinación de nuestros padres de familia. La mayor parte de nuestra fuerza laboral se encuentra en este momento en nuestros planteles escolares, enseñando, cuidando y alimentando a nuestros niños. Un 63% de nuestros niños del segundo distrito escolar más grande en nuestro país están en sus planteles escolares, los lugares más seguros en nuestra comunidad. Un 90% de nuestros maestros también reportaron a sus escuelas. Más del 90% de los conductores de autobuses escolares también están trabajando. Estoy muy contento y quiero dar las gracias de una forma muy seria a nuestra fuerza laboral por el coraje y la determinación que han demostrado. Nuestros niños, 80% de ellos son pobres. Ellos dependen del desayuno y el almuerzo gratis que nosotros proporcionamos. Y es por eso que un 63% a este momento están en nuestros planteles escolares. Estoy pidiendo a los padres de familia y a nuestra fuerza laboral que hoy, al final del día escolar, que se van para sus hogares, para sus casas, porque las condiciones atmosféricas van a empeorar. Y es importante asegurar que nuestros niños llegan a sus casas de una forma segura. Mañana esperamos un día de escuela mejor que hoy, porque las condiciones van a mejorar para este martes. Una vez más, quiero dar las gracias a nuestra fuerza laboral, a nuestros padres de familia, a nuestra alcaldesa y al nivel de colaboración que existe en nuestra comunidad que se prepara para eventos como este. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much.
Hemos atravesado una tormenta significativa aquí en el municipio de Los Ángeles y gracias al liderazgo de nuestra alcaldesa podemos decir que en la mayor parte de las partes de la ciudad hemos podido atravesarlo con cierta cantidad de habilidad sin mucho impacto. Pero aún así el peligro no ha pasado, continúan amenazando estas tormentas, continúa la amenaza de caída de árboles, caída de tendido eléctrico y por esa razón pedimos al público que si no necesita salir a las calles, manténgase refugiado en su hogar. Continuamos a través de la noche. Estamos orgullosos del trabajo que los varios departamentos de la ciudad han llevado a cabo y trabajado exhaustivamente a través de la noche para servir al público. Continúa este trabajo y hemos visto bastante lluvia que ha creado algunos problemas y trabajo para nuestros empleados del municipio. Vimos 2 a 5 pulgadas de lluvia en la área metropolitana de Los Ángeles y las montañas de Santa Mónica recibieron entre 5 a 10 pulgadas de lluvia. Es bastante agua la que ha caído y no ha terminado el peligro, continúa el peligro y la amenaza que esta agua lleva al público con deslaves de lodo, con carreteras que están inundadas, con peligro de caídas de líneas eléctricas y tendido eléctrico. Por esa razón pedimos al público que se mantenga en su hogar por lo menos hasta el martes en la tarde. El Departamento de Bomberos, con sus más de 1,000 bomberos en el municipio de Los Ángeles, ha sido apoyado por equipos especializados de rescate urbano, pilotos de helicópteros, equipo pesado y más bomberos en nuestro comando y control y centro de operaciones 911. Pedimos al público que nos apoye manteniéndose alerta a lo que está ocurriendo en su derredor. Muchas de las carreteras se han convertido en torrentes de ríos y por esa razón pedimos al público que tenga mucho cuidado al cruzar estas y si es posible tratar de mantenerse en su hogar. Hemos visto también un incremento en la cantidad de llamadas de emergencia a las cuales hemos acudido. 130 incidentes donde se ha acumulado bastante agua y inundado diferentes porciones de la ciudad. Hemos tenido 49 incidentes donde el lodo se ha desvanecido a través de las colinas y muchas de las carreteras en nuestras colinas de las montañas de Santa Mónica son peligrosas para manejar. Por eso pedimos al público que no maneje en los cañones de las montañas rodeando Los Ángeles. El Departamento de Bomberos continúa rescatando a personas de áreas que han sido evacuadas. Entre estas está la área de Studio City en la calle Lockridge, donde llevamos a cabo evacuaciones de personas en 9 diferentes residencias, 2 de las cuales fueron significativamente afectadas y dañadas al punto que no son habitables. El Departamento de Seguridad Pública, Compañía de Gas, Compañía de Agua y Poder, todas estas compañías, igual que los bomberos y policías, han trabajado a través de la noche para mantener los residentes de Los Ángeles seguros. La orden de evacuación en el cañón de la Tuna todavía continúa vigente. Y para todos aquellos que han sido evacuados, queremos dejarles saber que continuamos monitorando lo que el Servicio Meteorológico de Estados Unidos nos está diciendo en cuanto a esta tormenta que está pasando. Continuamos viendo lodo en diferentes áreas de las colinas de Hollywood. Específicamente, ahorita estamos investigando un incidente en el Beverly Drive. Esta comunidad también estamos evaluando y viendo qué impacto ha habido a las propiedades que están ahí. También tuvimos reporte de una persona en el agua, en el río, en el arroyo de Pacoima, que entra al río de Los Ángeles. Nosotros no nos detuvimos y mandamos bomberos y especialistas de rescate acuático a entrar al agua para buscar este niño. No se ha encontrado ninguna víctima hasta ahorita, pero continuamos nosotros con la búsqueda y hemos transitado la búsqueda de este niño a nuestros compañeros del Departamento del Condado de Los Ángeles. El Departamento de Agua y Poder ha reportado más de 150 incidentes y zonas donde se ha perdido el poder o electricidad. Continúan habiendo más de 7,200 clientes sin electricidad, pero continuamos trabajando para restaurar lo más pronto posible electricidad en esas áreas y esperamos que en las siguientes 4 a 6 horas se pueda restaurar servicio. Han habido más de 65 accidentes automovilísticos causados por estas lluvias y por esa razón pedimos al público que amenore su velocidad e incremente la distancia con la que sigue otros vehículos. Como puede ver, la tormenta nos ha afectado bastante y el peligro no ha pasado completamente. La tormenta continúa impactando nuestra ciudad y por eso pedimos al público que use su buen juicio y por favor no cruce la agua que se está moviendo con rapidez, es muy peligroso. Pedimos a los residentes que también nos apoyen reportando áreas donde se han aglomerado las alcantarillas y donde el desagüe no está funcionando correctamente por llamar al número 311 y reportar esto para que nuestro centro de operaciones pueda manejar el asunto y tomar cartas en este asunto. Continuamos nosotros apoyando a nuestros servicios. Por favor, le pedimos que marque 311 si necesita reportar o tiene necesidad de servicios por parte del municipio de Los Ángeles. Una vez más, agradecemos el apoyo del público, le pedimos que evite el viajar y le pedimos que apoye a sus vecinos cuidando uno de otros. Gracias.
Before we open it up for questions, I also want to acknowledge LAPD Captain Kelly Muniz, who's here for questions, as well as Deputy Mayor Randall Winston and Deputy Mayor Brian Williams of Public Safety. Any questions? Good. All right. Our next update is going to be at 5. Oh, sure. Go ahead.
First, for the fire chief, is there anything that you can say about this report of a 6-year-old boy in the river? Was that a false alarm, or what's going on there?
Right. So the details that we were given, I was briefed on, there was a report. Somebody did actively call 911 and reported a 6-year-old potential male in the river. So we have an extensive operation anytime we have anybody that is potentially reported in the river. We dispatched the appropriate resources. We had multiple helicopters in the air searching for this individual. We also had our land resources that were strategically placed over our bridges, and we also launched 2 additional swiftwater boats to do an active search. Now with that, the extensive search that was conducted, we did not find any victim in the river. With the extensive search started from Pacoima all the way down the LA River until we came to that LA County border. That's where we partner with our other local agencies to continue the search downriver, and from that point we did not verify that there was somebody in the river, but LA County continues their search. Thank you.
I have a question for the LAUC. In terms of the statistics that you said 63% of students showed up and 90% of staff showed up. How does that compare to what's the normal attendance rate at LAUC?
So what I said was 90% of teachers showed up, and in excess of 90% of bus drivers showed up. 63%, and by the way, for a Monday, that's not terribly off the norm. 63% is below the average. So we've made remarkable progress in terms of improving our average daily attendance. About a year and a half ago, that used to be the attendance. Immediately following the pandemic, it was really low. 50% of our kids were chronically absent. Through our efforts, we've actually increased average daily attendance to about 92 to 93%. So 63% is off the ideal. We expected that. Remember that yesterday we said we're going to open all schools. However, parents, use your judgment, make decisions regarding conditions surrounding your home and the type of travel you would need to incur to get your child to school. And many parents obviously have made that decision. We left that door open, and many parents took advantage of that door being open. With that said, 63% of the students who came to school are children of single parent families or families who absolutely needed to go to work. These kids needed to be in school. And for many of them, as I stated earlier, particularly recognizing that 80% of them depend on the free breakfast, the free lunch, and the free snack. For many of these kids, the meals they got at school today may very well be the only meals they will eat today.
Thank you. So again, I just wanted to make sure everyone's on board with the cadence. At about 12:30, we're going to be providing another written update with statistics released and discussed earlier this morning. At 5 p.m., we will hold our next in-person press conference. I believe it's going to be off-site and not at this location. We will advise you all when that is confirmed. And then at 6 p.m., we will have our afternoon update. Of course, throughout this emergency, we will be flexible providing updates as needed. And thank you all so much for your coverage.